The air feels heavy, like the pages of an old book left too long unopened. My hand shakes, and the novel I'm holding slips, crashing to the wooden floor with a dull thud. A searing pain rips through my head, sharp as a blade, and my legs give way. I collapse against the shelves, the familiar scent of paper and ink wrapping around me like a fading memory. As the world blurs, a truth stabs deeper than the pain. I've given my entire life to others, poured every ounce of myself into the people I love. And now, in this moment, I'm alone. No one here but these silent books. The darkness creeps closer, and I wonder if this is how it ends. This is the story of how I learned that the ones you hold closest can cut you the deepest. Before we go further, drop a comment below. Tell me where you're watching from, and hit subscribe for more. Stories about the hidden strengths we all carry within. The hospital lights hum above me, but the memory of my bookstore lingers like a half-read page. My name is Eleanor Harper, Ellie to those who know me best. At 68, I'm the keeper of Pages and Promises, a little bookshop tucked in a quiet corner of suburban Seattle. My hair has gone silver, my hands are creased from years of turning pages, and my eyes still spark when I talk about a good story. I used to teach literature, but after my husband passed 20 years ago, I poured my heart into this shop. It's more than a business. It's a haven for book lovers, a place where kids read poetry and old folks swap memoirs. I raised my son Nathan alone after his dad died. He's 42 now, with a sharp smile and a restless energy I never quite understood. His wife Melissa is all charm and ambition, always chasing the next big thing. Then there's my granddaughter Lily, 16, who used to curl up in the shop's reading nook with dog-eared novels. I've given them everything. Money for Nathan's startup dreams, loans for Melissa's projects, even my time when Lily needed a listener. The shop's been their safety net too, its shelves holding my life's savings and my soul. But lately, I felt like a footnote in their story. Nathan's visits are rushed, Melissa's calls are clipped, and Lily's drifted to her phone. Scream. I kept telling myself it's just life pulling us apart. I kept believing they'd be there when it mattered. How wrong I was. As I lay in that hospital bed waiting for them to show up, I started to see the truth. My family wasn't reading the same book I was. The hospital room smells of antiseptic, sharp and cold, a world away from the warm, inky scent of my bookstore. The monitors beep softly, their rhythm steady but unfamiliar, like a metronome set to someone else's song. I'm propped up in bed, my left hand heavy, my thoughts sluggish from the stroke that nearly took me. The doctors say I'm lucky to be alive, lucky the damage wasn't worse. But as I stare at the pale walls, waiting for my family, lucky feels like the wrong word. Where are they? Nathan and Melissa finally arrive an hour late, their faces tight with something that looks like concern but feels rehearsed. Nathan, my son, towers over the bed, his dark hair flecked with early gray. "Mom, you scared us," he says, but his eyes dart to his phone, already buzzing in his pocket. Melissa, sleek in a tailored blazer, offers a practiced smile. "You need to take it easy now, Ellie. No more overdoing it at the shop." Her voice is smooth, but there's an edge to it, like she's reading from a script. I nod, too weak to argue, my throat dry as old parchment. "Water," I manage, and Melissa hesitates before passing me a plastic cup, her manicured nails brushing. The rim. Nathan sits, but he's fidgeting, checking his watch. "We've been so worried," he says, "but the shop's fine. I stopped by to check on it." My heart lifts for a moment. Pages and Promises, my life's work, safe in his hands. "Thank you," I whisper, clinging to the hope that they'll step up now when I need them most. The doctor, a kind-eyed woman named Dr. Lynn, comes in with a clipboard. "Mrs. Harper, you've had a mild stroke," she explains, her voice calm but firm. "With rehabilitation, you can regain most of your function, but you'll need support at home, help with daily tasks, transportation to therapy, strict adherence to your medication." She glances at Nathan and Melissa. "Will someone be staying with her?" Melissa nods quickly. "Of course, we'll handle everything." Her assurance feels like a promise, and I almost believe it. Almost. They leave soon after, citing a meeting Nathan can't miss and a charity event Melissa's organizing. "We'll be back tomorrow, Mom," Nathan says, already halfway out the door. "Lily sends her love." I picture my granddaughter, her nose buried in a book, and wonder why she hasn't come. The room feels emptier after they're gone, the beeping monitors louder. I tell myself they're busy, that they'll show up when I'm discharged, but doubt creeps in, like damp seeping into a book's pages. 3 days later, I'm cleared to go home. Dr. Lin hands me a stack of prescriptions and a list of restrictions. No lifting, no driving, physical therapy 3 times a week. "You'll need someone reliable," she says, her eyes searching mine. "Your family's arranged it, yes?" I nod, swallowing the truth, that I haven't heard from Nathan or Melissa since that first visit. I call Nathan, but it goes to voicemail. Melissa's phone rings unanswered. Desperate, I text Lily, hoping she'll respond. Nothing. By noon, I'm still in the discharge lounge, clutching my hospital bag, my cane wobbling under my weight. The nurse looks concerned. "Is someone coming, Mrs. Harper?" she asks. I force a smile. They're on their way, but they're not. At 1:30, I call Nathan again. This time, he picks up, his voice groggy, like I've woken him. "Mom, today, Melissa didn't say anything about picking you up." My chest tightens, not from the stroke, but from the sinking realization. "I need you, Nathan. I'm being discharged at 2 ASD. A long pause. "That's like really soon. My car's in the shop and I've got this thing with a client." I cut him off, my voice sharper than I intend. "I just had a stroke, Nathan. I can't take a cab." Another pause. "Fine, I'll figure it out," he mutters. He arrives at 3:45, an hour and a half late, pulling up in Melissa's gleaming SUV. He smells of coffee and something sharper, maybe whiskey. "Sorry, Mom, traffic was a nightmare," he says, not meeting my eyes. The nurse helps me into the passenger seat, her brow furrowed. "Will someone be staying with you?" she asks quietly. "My son's helping," I say, avoiding Nathan's glance as he fiddles with the radio. She squeezes my hand before closing the door, a small gesture that stings more than it should. The drive home is a blur of Nathan's chatter, something about a new business deal, a friend who owes him money, none of it about me or the shop. When we reach my small craftsman house just blocks from pages and promises, he carries my bag inside but lingers by the door. "You need anything right now? I've got to get Melissa's car back." I look around my living room, the familiar clatter of books and teacups now daunting. I need groceries, my prescriptions filled, someone to help me up the stairs. But Nathan's already checking his phone, his impatience palpable. "Could you pick up my meds?" I ask, handing him my Medicare card and $40. "It's at the pharmacy." "On Pine Street," he grimaces. "Today, I was going to meet some guys." I hold his gaze. "The doctor said I need them now." He sighs, pocketing the money. "Okay, I'll swing by later." He doesn't. That night I sit in my armchair, too weak to climb to my bedroom, my pills still at the pharmacy. I call Nathan. No answer. I text Melissa. No reply. The silence of the house presses against me, heavier than the stroke's after effects. I think of pages and promises, its shelves waiting, and wonder if it's as neglected as I am. The truth I've been dodging starts to take shape. My family's promises are as empty as the pages of an unwritten book. The next morning, the doorbell jolts me awake. I shuffle to the door, expecting a delivery, but it's Agnes, the wiry 70-something owner of the coffee shop next to mine. Her gray curls are tucked under a scarf, and she's holding a foil container. "Ellie, you look like you've been through a war," she says, her bluntness almost making me laugh. "Heard about your stroke. Brought you some lasagna." I step aside, stunned by this kindness from someone I've only shared small talk with over the years. She sets the dish on my kitchen counter, her eyes scanning the room. "Your family helping out?" I hesitate, then lie. "Nathan's trying." Agnes raises an eyebrow, seeing through me. "Trying's not doing, is it?" she says, and something in her voice cracks open a door I've kept shut too long. Agnes's lasagna sits half-eaten on my kitchen table, the warmth of her visit still lingering like the afterglow of a good book. But her words echo louder. "Trying's not doing, is it?" They've cracked something open inside me, a realization I've buried under years of excuses for my family. Nathan didn't bring my meds yesterday or the day before. My physical therapy appointment came and went, and I had to call the clinic with a flimsy excuse about feeling under the weather. Pages and Promises, my bookstore, hasn't been mentioned since Nathan's vague promise to check on it. I picture its shelves, neglected, gathering dust, and my chest aches, not from the stroke, but from the weight of being let down. Agnes comes by again the next morning, this time with a thermos of coffee and a no-nonsense look. "Ellie, you can't keep waiting for that son of yours to step up," she says, pouring us each a cup. He's not going to." Her bluntness stings, but it's the kind of truth that cuts through fog. She tells me she stopped by the bookstore yesterday, expecting to see Nathan there. Instead, she found the door locked, a stack of unopened mail on the counter, and a sign saying, "Closed until further notice." My heart sinks. That shop is my life, my legacy. How could he let it fall apart? "There's something else," Agnes says, her voice lowering. She hesitates like she's weighing whether I can handle it. I overheard Melissa on the phone outside my cafe. She was talking to someone, a realtor, I think, about moving forward with the sale. Sounded like they were talking about your shop. The words hit like a dropped book, heavy and final. A sale? Pages and Promises isn't theirs to sell. It's mine. Every shelf, every story, every memory of late-night inventory with my husband before he passed. I want to dismiss it as a misunderstanding, but the pieces start to fit. Nathan's questions about the shop's finances, Melissa's insistence that I take it easy. Have they been planning this all along? I sit there, coffee cooling in my hands, feeling like I've been erased from my own story. But Agnes isn't done. "You need help, Ellie. Real help. Not promises from people who don't show up." She slides a piece of paper across the table with a name and number: Clara Nanguyen, a local college student who loves books and needs part-time work. My friend's daughter hired her to help with errands after surgery. She's reliable. Call her. Ike. Stare at the number, my fingers trembling, not from the stroke, but from the weight of what it means to call. It's admitting Nathan's failed me. It's admitting I can't rely on my own son. But as I look at Agnes, her eyes steady and kind, I feel a flicker of something new. Maybe it's time I stop waiting for my family to write the next chapter. That afternoon, I call Clara. Her voice is bright, professional, with a warmth that puts me at ease. She's 22, studying English literature, and she lights up when I mention Pages and Promises. "I used to go there as a kid," she says. "Your poetry nights were my favorite." We agree she'll start tomorrow, 3 days a week, helping with errands, driving me to therapy, and most importantly, getting the bookstore back on its feet. I hang up, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and relief. For the first time since the stroke, I feel like I'm taking control. The next morning, Clara arrives at 9 sharp, her dark ponytail swinging as she sets a bag of groceries on my counter. She's petite, but moves with purpose, her eyes scanning my cluttered living room. "Let's get your meds sorted first," she says, pulling out a weekly pill organizer. She drives me to therapy, waiting in the lobby with a paperback instead of idling in the car like Nathan would. When we stop by Pages and Promises, I brace myself for chaos, but Clara's already making notes. Dust the shelves, reorder stock, plan, a reopening event. Her energy is a lifeline, pulling me back to the shop I thought I'd lost. That evening, Nathan calls, his voice casual like he hasn't ghosted me for days. "Hey Mom, how's it going? Need anything for the shop?" The question feels loaded now, tainted by what Agnes overheard. I take a deep breath, my cane steadying me against the kitchen counter. "I've hired someone to help, Nathan," I say, my voice calm but firm. "Clara's taking care of the shop and my appointments. You don't need to worry about it anymore." There's a pause, then a huff. "What? You don't trust me to handle things?" His tone is defensive, but I hear something else. Panic, maybe. "It's not about trust," I say. "It's about reliability. I need someone who shows up." He laughs, but it's brittle. "So you're replacing me, your own son?" The accusation stings, but I hold my ground. "I'm doing what's best for me, Nathan, for the shop. If you want to help, show up for my therapy tomorrow, 10 a.m. Another pause, longer this time. "I'll see what I can do," he mutters, then hangs up. I know he won't come, and for the first time, I'm not surprised. I sit at my kitchen table, staring at the piece of paper with Clara's number, now taped to my fridge. The bookstore's keys glint beside it, a reminder of what I fought for. I think of Agnes's words, of the sale Melissa might be planning. Something shifts inside me, a quiet resolve, like turning the page to a new chapter. I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm rewriting my story, and this time, I'm the one holding the pen. The morning light filters through my living room window, catching the edges of a stack of books I haven't touched since the stroke. It's been a week since I hired Clara, and already I feel a shift, like a page turning after being stuck too long. She's a whirlwind of energy, organizing my meds, driving me to therapy, and breathing life back into Pages and Promises. The shop sign is up again, the shelves dusted, and Clara's even planning a poetry reading for next month. But beneath this fragile hope, Agnes's words gnaw at me. Melissa was talking about a sale. I try to push it away, to believe it's a mistake, but doubt has taken root, and it's growing. I'm at the bookstore with Clara, sorting through a box of new arrivals, when I noticed the shop's old desktop computer blinking with unread emails. Nathan was supposed to handle the business account while I was in the hospital, so I log in, more out of habit than suspicion. The inbox is a mess. Overdue bills, customer inquiries, and then buried in the clutter an email from a name I don't recognize, Evergreen Properties. The subject line reads, "Preliminary agreement for sale of Pages and Promises." My heart stumbles, a faint echo of the stroke's grip. I open it, my hands shaking. The email is addressed to Nathan, dated 2 days after my stroke. It outlines a deal to sell the bookstore to Evergreen, a real estate firm known for turning small shops into chain stores. The offer is generous, 6 figures, enough to clear any debt Nathan might have. There's a scanned document attached, a letter of intent with Nathan's signature scrawled at the bottom. No mention of me, the owner. No mention of my life's work. Just cold, calculated terms, as if Pages and Promises is nothing more than square footage. I scroll further and find another email, this one from Melissa to a place called Sunset Pines Retirement Community. My mother-in-law, Eleanor Harper, recently had a stroke, it reads. She's unable to manage her business or live independently. Please contact her about residency options. My breath catches. Residency options? They're not just selling my shop. They're trying to pack me off to a nursing home, out of sight, out of their way. The betrayal cuts deeper than any physical pain, sharp and raw. All this time, their promises to help were a lie, script to keep me quiet while they dismantled my world. I sit there, staring at the screen, the words blurring through tears I didn't know I had left. Clara notices, her hand gentle on my shoulder. Ellie, what's wrong? I can't speak, can't find the words to explain that my own son, my own family, has been plotting behind my back. I hand her the laptop and her eyes widen as she reads. This is unbelievable, she whispers. They can't do this. The shop's in your name. Her outrage steadies me like a bookmark holding my place. She's right. They can't. Not if I fight back. I call Agnes, my voice, trembling but resolute. I need you at the shop tomorrow, I say, and bring your friend, the one who's a lawyer. Agnes doesn't hesitate. I'll be there, Ellie. Whatever you're planning, I've got your back. Clara offers to stay late, printing out the emails, organizing evidence. I don't sleep that night, my mind racing with a plan, not just to save my shop, but to reclaim my life. The next day, I ask Nathan and Melissa to meet me at Pages and Promises. I don't tell them why, only that it's urgent. They arrive at noon, Nathan slouching in a jacket, Melissa in heels that click sharply on the hardwood. The shop is quiet, the shelves gleaming under Clara's care, but the air feels charged, like the moment before a storm. Agnes is there, standing by the counter, her lawyer friend, Marjorie, beside her. Clara hovers near the poetry section, her notebook ready. I sit in my favorite armchair, the one where I used to read to Lily, my cane resting against it. For the first time since the stroke, I feel steady. Nathan, Melissa, I begin, my voice calm but unyielding. I found the emails, the ones about selling Pages and Promises to Evergreen Properties, the ones about sending me to Sunset Pines. Nathan's face pales, his mouth opening, but no words come out. Melissa's smile freezes, her eyes darting to Nathan. Mom, you've got it all wrong, she says, her voice too smooth. We were just exploring options for your sake. The shop's too much for you now, and after your stroke. Stop, I cut her off, my voice louder than I expected. The room goes still. This shop is mine. My name is on the deed, not yours. You had no right to sign anything, Nathan. No right to contact a nursing home, Melissa, as if I'm some burden you can ship away. I hold up the printed emails, my hands steady now. These aren't options. This is theft, betrayal. Nathan finally speaks, his voice cracking. Mom, we were trying to help. The shop's losing money and you can't keep up. We thought it'd be best for everyone. Best for everyone. The words land like a slap. Best for their bank account, their lifestyle, their convenience. Not for me, the woman who built this place from nothing, who raised Nathan when I had nothing but hope. Agnes steps forward, her eyes blazing. You thought wrong, young man. Ellie's not going anywhere, and neither is this shop. Marjorie, the lawyer, adds, I've reviewed the documents. The agreement is invalid without Ellie's consent. You're lucky she's not pressing charges. Melissa's face flushes, but she stays silent, her usual charm crumbling. I take a deep breath, the weight of 68 years steadying me. I'm changing my will, I say, looking straight at Nathan. Pages and Promises won't go to you. If I die, it'll go to a community trust to keep this shop alive for people who actually care about it. Unless you prove you're worth trusting again, you get nothing. Nathan's eyes widen, but I'm not done. And I'm not moving to Sunset Pines. I'm staying right here, in my home, with my shop, living my life. The silence is heavy, broken only by the faint creak of the shelves. Melissa grabs her purse, muttering something about needing air, and storms out. Nathan lingers, his shoulders slumped. "Mom, I didn't mean for it to go this far," he says. But I raise a hand. "Show me with actions, Nathan, not words. Start by showing up." He nods barely and leaves, the bell above the door, jingling softly behind him. Clara and Agnes stay, their presence a quiet anchor. As the afternoon light spills through the shop's windows, I feel something new, a clarity, a strength I thought the stroke had stolen. They tried to erase me, to sell my story for profit, but I'm still here, and this chapter isn't theirs to write. The days after the confrontation feel like the first pages of a new book, unfamiliar, but full of possibility. Pages and Promises is alive again, its windows glowing with soft light, the bell above the door jingling with every customer. Clara's become more than a helper. She's a spark, rearranging shelves, designing flyers for a poetry night, even setting up a little coffee corner with Agnes's beans. My stroke left me slower, my left hand still clumsy, but with Clara's help, I'm finding my rhythm. The Yay shop isn't just a business anymore. It's a lifeline, pulling me back to myself. I start physical therapy 3 times a week, and Clara drives me, her chatter about books filling the car. "Have you read The Night Circus?" she asks one day, her eyes bright. "It's like your shop, magic hidden in plain sight." I smile, something I haven't done much lately. At therapy, I'm regaining strength, my steps steadier, my cane less necessary. But it's not just my body healing. It's my heart, too, mending in ways I didn't expect. Agnes suggests I join a book club at the local library, and at first I hesitate. Socializing feels like a chapter I closed years ago, when I was too busy raising Nathan or running the shop. But she insists, dragging me to a Tuesday evening meeting. The room is warm, filled with women my age and older, their faces lined with stories as rich as any novel. There's Ruth, a retired librarian with a sharp wit, Helen, who paints watercolors and lost her son to addiction, and Miriam, a former nurse who quotes poetry like it's her native tongue. They welcome me like an old friend, passing around a tattered copy of Their Eyes Were Watching God. We talk about the book, about love and freedom, but soon the conversation drifts to life, children who drift away, dreams deferred, the quiet ache of growing older. Ruth shares how her daughter only calls when she needs money. Helen admits she stopped inviting her sister over after years of criticism. I find myself opening up, my voice shaky but honest. "My son tried to sell my bookstore," I say, the eats, words spilling out. "He thought I wouldn't notice, that I was too weak to fight back." The room goes quiet, but not with judgment, with understanding. Miriam reaches for my hand. "You're not weak, Ellie. You're here, aren't you?" Her words settle into me like a bookmark marking a truth I'd forgotten. The book club becomes my anchor, a weekly ritual of laughter, stories, and shared strength. Ruth brings me a list of novels she thinks my shop should stock. Helen paints a small sign for the poetry night, her brush strokes delicate but bold. Miriam invites me to her granddaughter's piano recital, and I go, clapping louder than I have in years. These women, strangers just weeks ago, are weaving themselves into my life, filling spaces I didn't know were empty. Pages and Promises starts to reflect this change too. Clara and I host a children's story hour, and the shop hums with tiny voices. The poetry night draws a crowd, young and old, their words echoing off the shelves. I watch from my armchair, my heart full, and think, this is what I've been missing. Nathan's absence is a quiet ache, but it's not all-consuming anymore. Melissa hasn't called since the confrontation, her silence a clear line drawn. Lily texts once a shy, "Hope you're okay, Grandma," and I reply with an invitation to the poetry night. She doesn't come, but I hold on to the hope that she might someday. Then one evening, as I'm closing the shop, my phone rings. It's Nathan. His voice is softer than usual, almost hesitant. "Mom, I'm sorry," he says. "I messed up. I was drowning in debt, and I thought selling the shop would fix everything. I didn't think about you." The admission catches me off guard, like a page I didn't expect to turn. I pause, the shop's keys heavy in my hand. "I hear you, Nathan," I say, my voice steady. "But apologies don't erase what you did. If you want to be part of my life, you need to show up, not just for the shop, but for me." He's quiet for a long moment. "I want to try," he says finally. "Can I come by tomorrow, just to talk?" I hesitate, the memory of those emails still sharp, but I nod, though he can't see it. "Tomorrow 10 a.m., don't be late." He promises he won't, and for the first time, I let myself believe he might mean it. The next morning, Nathan shows up, not at 10, but at 10:15, a small victory. He looks tired, his usual confidence frayed. We sit in the shop's coffee corner, Clara bustling in the background. He talks about his debts, his fights with Melissa, the pressure that led him to that awful deal. I listen, not rushing to fix it like I used to. "I'm not your safety net anymore, Nathan," I say gently, "but I'm still your mother. We can start small, coffee, talks, maybe helping out here, but it's on my terms now." He nods, his eyes meeting mine, and I see a flicker of the boy who once begged for bedtime stories. It's not forgiveness, not yet, but it's a door cracked open. Weeks pass, and the shop thrives. Clara's poetry nights become a local staple, drawing writers from across Seattle. Ruth and Helen help me plan a book festival, and Miriam's granddaughter even reads at one of our events, her shy smile lighting up the room. Nathan visits twice more, once to help shelve books, once just to sit and talk. He's trying, and I'm learning to let him without bending my boundaries. The shop's shelves are full, its windows bright, and I'm starting to feel like the woman I was before the stroke. No, stronger, because I'm choosing this life, not just living it for others. As I lock up one night, the street quiet, I run, my fingers along the shop's doorframe, feeling the grain of the wood, the weight of every choice that brought me here. Pages and Promises isn't just a bookstore anymore. It's a promise I've made to myself, to live, to love, to bloom, no matter who tries to tear me down. The bell above the door of Pages and Promises chimes softly as I set up for our grand reopening. The shop glows under strings of fairy lights, its shelves brimming with new books, the air rich with the scent of coffee and paper. Tonight, it's not just a bookstore, it's a celebration. Clara's arranged tables with cookies and tea, and the book club ladies, Ruth, Helen, Miriam, are here, their laughter mingling with the hum of neighbors and new faces. Even Agnes is bustling about, refilling teapots with her usual no-nonsense warmth. This shop, my haven, is alive again, and so am I. I stand by the poetry corner, my cane tucked away tonight, my hands steady as I hold a copy of Leaves of Grass. 68 years old, and I'm stronger than I've ever been, not because the stroke didn't break me, but because it taught me to rebuild. My family tried to tear me down, to sell this place for their own gain, to write me out of my own story, but I learned something in the ashes of their betrayal. Family isn't just blood. It's the people who show up, who see you, who hold space for your light. Clara, Agnes, these women, they're my family now, woven into the pages of my life. Nathan's here tonight, standing quietly by the history section. He came alone, no Melissa. his face softer than I've seen in years. We're not healed, not yet, but we're trying. Weekly coffees, honest talks, small steps toward something new. The shop will stay mine, its future secure in my hands, not his. And that's okay. Because the stroke didn't just take from me, it gave me clarity. It showed me that loving yourself first isn't selfish. It's the only way to have anything left to give. At 68, I've learned to bloom, not for others, but for me. As I read a poem to the crowd, their faces lit by the shop's warm glow, I feel it. A quiet joy, like a book finally finding its reader. Pages and Promises is my story, and I'm still writing it, one brave, beautiful page at a time. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. Tell me how you've bloomed in your own life, and subscribe for more stories about finding strength. In the chapters we least expect,